Assalamu alaikum listeners. Today the topic we have chosen that is about a poem, and this poem is about the refugees when they were thrown out of their dear homeland from the Germany. And this poem is about the German Jews whenever they were mm, exiled forcefully by the government and by the Hitler, how the refugees have faced and endured the hardships in the various countries of the world, and how it was very much difficult for them to survive in any part of the world, though this world is created for all the mankind. But this place became a very burdenful for them, and they were feeling very much uncomfortable whosoever was going to the other countries and the other parts of the world. No one was welcoming them, and none of them was giving them the proper rights. So let's start with the poem. Say this city has 10 million souls. Say this city has 10 million souls. Some are living in the mansions, some are living in the holes. Yes, there is no place for us, my dear. Yes, there is no place for us. In this stanza, W.H. Organ, he tried to represent the thought and the feelings and emotions of all those people who were out of the Germany, and they are basically known as the German Jews. And whenever they were sent out of their dear homeland because of the cruelty of the Hitler, this is the voice from the core of the heart of all the refugees, that they want to seek some place to stay for a night, and wherever they were going in the various parts of the world, no one was entertaining them. None of them was giving them some place to live in. And they this is the voice of the German Jews and um, all those people who were out of their country, and they are seeing, they are feeling that some are living in the mansions. There are beautiful houses, big mansions, and some are living in the holes. And if they are saying that some are living in the holes, it means that they are living in the miserable condition. Both are the human races, but there is a clear difference by the world rulers. There are human beings who are living in the mansions, but there are others who are living in the holes. They got no place to live in. They are hiding their head in the holes. They are facing so much hardships. They got no place to stay in. And once we had a country and we thought it fair. Look in the atlas, you will find it there. We cannot go there now, my dear, we cannot go there now. In the second stanza, the poet tried to represent the intense feeling of the refugees and the immigrants, that he is addressing to the whole world and the whole community, that once we had a country. They are talking about the Germany. Yes, we had a country, and they were thinking and considering it was a good country which will give them justice, which will give them all the rights and the fundamental rights. Look in the atlas and you will find it there. We can't go now, my dear, we can't go there now. And they are saying once they have been living there a very respectable life, they were having a very good country, but now that place is banned for them. They cannot go to that place. This place is just like that. That's the no-go area for them. In the village churchyard there grows an old yew. Every spring it blossoms anew. Old passport can do that, my dear. Old passport can do that. Now the writer is trying to recall his memories of his dear homeland, that in his own country there was a old in the village churchyard there was a beautiful old yew tree which was grown there, and it has a very good memories for the writer and for the immigrants. But he's saying that though he's having the passport of the same country, with the passport of the same country, he cannot go get back to the Germany because he is having the old passport, and Hitler has decided that only those people who will be having the new passports they can stay in the same country. And this shows the intense feeling and the agony of the immigrants, how much agony they are facing. The council banged the table and said, if you got no passport you are officially dead, but we are still alive, my dear, we are still alive. This is about the management and the administration of the country, and the immigrants and the writer is depicting that the council has all the rights of the human beings in the human race, and they are saying they bang the table, which shows the power motive, how much powerful they are, how much aggressive they are banging the table against the human race, and they are saying that if you have no passport you are officially dead, that if you don't have passport you got no right to stay in the same country. This is the cruelty, this is the agony of all those people who are facing this trouble, because security and the shelter is the most important thing, and the dear homeland is above all. Because if they do have a country, they can stay in the same country, and if their own country have threw them out, if they have done the disclosure to them, if they have forced them to do the self exile, that it means that they are officially dead. They got no place in the country, and they cannot stay any longer in the country. Officially, they are not allowed to stay, and this is the peak of the cruelty. And but they are saying all the people who are forcefully allowed to get out of the country, though they are officially dead, but they are still alive, my dear, but they are still alive. Though in the books of the administration they are dead, but they are still alive. They are buried alive, and they are the people who are bearing the agony, who are bearing the misery, who are bearing the cruelty, and who are bearing various injustice in all the parts of the world. Went to the committee, they offered me a chair, asked me politely to return next year. But where shall we go today, my dear? Where shall we go today? Then there is an immigrant who went to the committee, and committee gave them a peak of the respect, and it was the biggest thing for them that they offered him a chair, asked me politely to return next year, and they said that we don't have any time to listen your case, you can come next year. But look at the trouble of this refugee, where he's saying, he's asking the question from all the human beings, that where shall we go today, my dear, where shall we go today, my dear. Because a single moment of the life is very much difficult to spend if someone doesn't have any refuge, if someone doesn't have any shelter. A single moment become a hazard for the person. Come to the public meeting, the speaker got up and said, if we let them in, they will steal our daily bread. And he was talking of you and me, my dear. He was talking of you and me. It's the peak of the stanza that the person, the refugee, came to the public meeting. People were holding a public meeting. They were managing the country affairs. And the speaker got up and he said, that if we let the refugees in our country, they will be eating our bread. Stealing doesn't mean that they will be the professional beggars and they will be the professional criminals. Rather, they will be eating our bread. and then we will be having the deficiency of the food. We cannot afford to give them a single meal. He was talking of you and me, my dear. The last line of this stanza, it represents the feelings, emotions, agony, psychological pressure, social pressure, and the community pressure of the refugees, that he is saying everyone is talking of you and me, but no one is trying to solve the misery of our problem. Thought I heard the thunder rumbling in the sky. It was Hitler over Europe saying they must die. We were in his mind, my dear, we were in his mind. Now, the author trying to tell the peak uh, of this poem, that how much cruel is their leader. He is very much against all the refugees, and he is thundering and rumbling in the sky because he is sending the message, aggressive message and hostile message to all those immigrants. And he is saying they must die, the immigrants have no right to live. He is confiscating their right, a right from them, that they cannot live in the world. They must die, they must die. And we were in his mind. This line represents the feelings of the refugees. We are in the mind, from the top leadership to the bottom leadership, but we are in the mind. But if we are in their mind, we are not in their good books. They just want us to kill us. They just want us to get out of this world. They think that we don't have any right to survive in this world. Saw a poodle in the jacket fastened with the pen. Saw a door opened and a cat let in. But they weren't German Jews, my dear. They weren't German Jews. Now the writer has tried to show that all the poodles, they were fastened with a pen. They are not treated, are the maltreated, and they are not poorly treated. They are nicely treated. And saw a door opened and cat let in. Even the cat does have a right to let in any house. But cat is not a German Jew. Only German Jews are the culprit. They are considered that they are the criminals. They don't have any human right. But even the small pet animals, they do have rights, and they are facing all the, they are having all the things whatever they want. If they want to enter in any house, they can enter it easily, but the German Jews cannot enter in anywhere. Went down the harbor and stood upon the quay, saw the swimming as they were free. Only 10 feet away, my dear, only 10 feet away, my dear. Now, the immigrants, they are moving from place to place. They are not sticking at one place. Rather, they have been attending the public meetings. They have been going to the committee. They have been going to the various places from where they can get the help, from where they can seek the help. But now he is moving desperately near the harbor, and he's saying, he's standing near the quay, and he's seeing that there are fish who are swimming. They are free, they, because they are not the human race. They are free. They are enjoying their freedom. They are enjoying their independence. And it was only 10 feet away, and there is not major distance between the refugee and the fish, but both have the different rules of life. Fish are free to swim independently, but human race, they are maltreated. Walked through a wood, saw the birds in the tree. They had no politician and sang at the ease. They weren't the human race, my dear. They weren't the human race. Now the refugees are moving from place to place, and they are moving to the woods. They are going to the forest, and they are seeing the birds. They are freely moving on the trees, and they are sitting in the trees, and they do have their place because the birds do have their nest in the trees. But the refugees don't mm, allowed to even seek any place, anywhere, not even in the forest, neither near the oceans, anywhere they are not allowed to stay freely and independently. They had no politicians and sang at their ease. They weren't the human race, my dear. They weren't the human race. Now he's making the comparison of the bird with the human beings, that the birds are freely living in their nest and they are freely moving from one tree to another tree. But the difference is the birds don't have their politicians, they don't have their policy makers, they don't have their rules, they don't have the administration. Rather, they are having an independent life because they are not the human race. Dreamed I saw a building with the 1,000 floors, 1,000 windows and the 1,000 doors. Not one of them was ours, my dear. Not one of them was ours, my dear. No, this is the voice of the heart of the immigrant, that he every other day he is dreaming, he is having a good wish that maybe he would be having a building with the 1,000 floors, and that building would be offering them a place, 1,000 windows and the 1,000 doors. None of them was ours, my dear. None of them was for the German Jews and the refugees, because this was for the local population. And though the building was empty, it was evacuated, but this building was not allowed to give the place for the German Jews. Stood on a great plain in the falling snow, 10,000 soldiers marched to and fro, looking for you and me, my dear, looking for you and me, my dear. Now there is our immigrant. He's standing on a great plain in the falling snow. This shows the hardships of the weather and the difficulty of the weather, though the weather is very much crucial and snow is falling and there is immense cold, and 10,000 soldiers. Look at the situation around. The 10,000 soldiers are moving around here and there, and they are looking for the German Jews. They are looking for the German Jews. They are looking for me and me, my dear, looking for you and me, my dear. They are finding out where are the German Jews, and they will catch them and put them in prison. So I hope students, you will like this video, and you will get benefit from it. Till the next video, Allah Hafiz.